Language Exposure Matters, created by Chantal Mayer-Crittenden and Jasmine Leduc. In Canada, we have two official languages, English and French. In Ontario, English is the language spoken by the majority of the population. Therefore, it is a majority language. While French is spoken by a minority of the population, it is therefore a minority language. When a child learns only one language, they are considered monolingual, and when a child learns two languages, they are considered bilingual. A bilingual child cannot devote as much time to each language as if they were just learning one. Therefore, their exposure time will vary from one language to the other. Why is this important? Because this can have an impact on the child's language development and ultimately their level of acquisition in both languages. In fact, a child needs to be exposed to a language at least 40% of his or her waking hours in order to attain proficiency in that language. This refers to the amount of language exposure. To have a good understanding of vocabulary words, a child must be exposed to a language 40% of his or her waking hours. So if a child is awake for 13 hours, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., they should be exposed to the language for about 5 hours in total. To have a good expressive vocabulary, that is, to be able to express oneself orally or in writing, one needs more than 60% exposure to a language. If we take the same scenario as the previous slide, this counts for nearly 8 hours of exposure. If the bilingual child reaches these hours of exposure in the minority language, they could, in principle, achieve a level of language proficiency similar to that of a monolingual child of the same language. However, it is important to note that the quality of the exposure also matters. This will be the subject of a different video. How is your child receiving his or her exposure to each language? A few examples are conversation at home and dialogue, at school and or on the bus, before and after school programs, extracurricular activities, friends, homework, electronic devices, and reading. By calculating the number of hours of exposure in each language, it is possible to measure the child's level of exposure. It is worth noting that exposure times vary depending on the time of year. For example, Christmas vacation, March break, summer, school year, etc. Please refer to our Butt Boot website for more information regarding the importance of language exposure.